when I was baking a cake in our home, 30 feet from me, I saw a lot of policemen in my neighbor. And in my fence, I just saw a lot of people, and I went out and asked the police. I said, "Sir, what's going on with my neighbor?" And then they said, "Your neighbor just committed suicide. Just like my husband, he shot himself." And that's when I got mad at God. I questioned him, why? And then on September 7, that's the day, September 7, 1993, God gave me a dream. In my dream, I was knocking at my neighbor's doors. I was telling them about Jesus. And then the next day, I remembered the verse that God gave me when David was missing. For 30 days, I would cling to God's words. I would read Psalms every single day. And then Psalms will just bring out life. It's like, give me life. And the verse was Psalms 30, verse 5, that said, "Weeping may endure for a night, joy comes in the morning." So that's the verse that I was holding on. So when I woke up on that September 8th, I asked God, "Lord, what can I do for you?" This is what I tell you all. Do not ask God, what can you do for him, if you are not prepared. He's going to take you out of your comfort zone. So about 3 weeks later, in October of 93, I was driving from the church with my mother next to me, passing by a bridge in Canton Bridge in Dallas, Texas. And then I heard an incredible voice in my heart that said, "Look at your left side." And then I looked, and then I saw about 100 men and women under the bridge living in a cardboard box. They were all homeless. And then the voice said, "You're going to go there in person." And I said, "No, not me. I'm not going. Those are crazy, violent people, and they're going to kill me. They're homeless and they're smelly." And then the voice said in my heart, "You were the one who asked me, what can you do for me?" Right there, I was convicted.
Yeah.
I was convicted. I was reminded of Moses when God told Moses to go to Egypt and get his people out. And Moses said, "No, I'm not going." I could not speak. So I said, "Lord, forgive me. These are needy people. What can I bring to them? What can I take to these people?" And then the voice said, "Blankets." So the next day I went to Baylor Hospital, where I was a supervisor. And then I called the store, "How much a blanket?" They said $5. So I asked all doctors and nurses for $5. So they started giving me $5 for a blanket. And then in November of 93, we went under the bridge with 100 blankets. And then you could just picture the homeless running towards us because they knew we had some gifts in our hands. And then we gave them the blankets. But before we gave them the blankets, we shared Jesus one-on-one. So you could picture under the bridge was covered with so many people sharing Jesus, and the homeless receiving the blankets. And then on December, we did the same thing. We brought the same the blankets, and then we brought evangelists who preached Jesus on top of the pickup truck. So the ministry started as a homeless blanket ministry in the streets of Dallas. And then the homeless started calling me the Blanket Lady of Dallas. That was my name. And then after that, we were ministry for a long time. And then 2001, God spoke in my heart that we would become a nonprofit. Well, I didn't know how to do a nonprofit. But see, when God gives a vision, he gives provision. Because the next week, my best friend called and she said, "Why don't you become a nonprofit? My husband, Nate, will set you up." So that's how we started as a nonprofit. Me, my best friend, and the pastor's wife, 3 clueless women, started Operation Care. We didn't know what we were doing, but we obeyed God because we heard the voice. I heard the voice. And then we had a dream in our hearts to give the homeless a day we're in on December. They will be pampered. They will be given food. They didn't have to think where to get their food. So we thought of a birthday party for Jesus. And then we will invite the homeless and the poor children at the Dallas Convention Center. So we planned on that, not knowing what we were doing. We didn't have any money, but God provided the money for us because a month before the event in 2004, that was our first event. The first plan was to have this big birthday party for Jesus. And we also did our event for the blanket. We gave away 1,000 blankets on that December, and we called it Birthday Bash for Jesus. And then God gave us the dream of this big, massive party. And he told me 10,000 people will attend on our first event. And that's really what happened. On December 2004,